So all you're willing to say is that you know that Anne Frank wrote part of the diary, but she did not write all of it. Is that correct?
No, perhaps most of it she did not write. In a sense, what is probably what did happen. Anne Frank did write something, eh? And a lot of this was edited by Mr. Frank and his collaborators, and then it was presented as Anne Frank's material, and very possibly it could be that the diary today, which we have today, is in most cases not Anne Frank's writings. And this is what I like to find out. How much exactly is hers and what isn't?
All right. First of all, what led you to be skeptical about the diary itself? It's promulgated by some of the leading personalities in our society. It's read by a vast majority of our school children. Our mainstream academics seem to accept its accuracy. What led you to believe that it was false?
Well, I tell you, it led me to believe it, to be very quickly about that. It was that anonymously I was mailed a booklet by the name, the author was called Richard Harwood, Did 6 Million Really Die? Within it there was mention about the Anne Frank story. And I was actually not wanting to prove Anne Frank wrong. I wanted to prove that Harwood was wrong. And so I investigated the matter, and I did find out that there was certain parts in that booklet which were incorrect. And this in turn brought me into another subject. By moving into the Anne Frank diary, I of course also found out that very likely she could not have written this. So in other words, it was a very strange way of getting into Anne Frank. It was actually proving the Richard Harwood, or Verrill, who is the actual author of that, wrong, and in that turn I came into this whole issue of which I call exterminationism. It's a vast issue, and Anne Frank is part of that issue.
What would you say is your principal objection to the presentation of the Anne Frank text as it is now published?
Well, it is used as a defense for the crimes committed today by a so-called Israel in Palestine, and it's done on the motivation of that this child suffered intensely, and therefore the so-called Israelis should have the right to clobber the Palestinians and mishandle them just as they want, just because of this girl's alleged difficulties.
Yes, but I mean, apart from that, what evidence can you articulate which pertains actually to the book itself? What can you relate to us which would lead us to believe that it is not authentic?
Well, the handwriting is the major thing. It's very obvious that the handwriting cannot belong to the same person when you look at them. This can be observed, and also by, this was later on, I did write about it in my booklet, that investigations should be made. We have today the means to investigate these matters, and investigations should be made. And as you perhaps know, this was later done, and it was found out that certain parts of it, or certain details of it, were written in a ballpoint pen, which were not in existence commonly at that time. So here they did what I had asked for doing, but there are many other things. The very introduction of Anne Frank, where she mentions the way a house was built and so forth. Now, to me, it was very obvious that a young girl like that would never write a diary of that nature.
Who made this investigation regarding the ballpoint pen writing?
Well, it was made on the basis of a trial which Mr. Otto Frank and his publisher and his publisher in Germany made against a fellow at Hamburg, and this trial is still pending. For good reasons, I think. It's probably they are waiting for this man who is quite old to die, because it's so obvious that Anne Frank is a hoax.
This man that they're waiting for to die in Hamburg is someone who had claimed, as you do, that the diary of Anne Frank is a hoax, and her father and the publisher took him to court. Is that correct?
That's right, yes.
And as a result of that court hearing, an investigation was made into the means of the writing of the book, and it was revealed that a ballpoint pen was used, which had not been invented at that time.
Yes, and I like to add here that Mr. Otto Frank gave this group who did the investigation plenty of difficulties.